Hey, how is it going?
I'm doing great. Are you getting excited for the business trip this weekend?
You bet.
Did you catch Game of Thrones this week?
Isn't that the show with the dragons and the midget? That show is for nerds.
Actually, there is a lot more to it than that.
I don't care. Why did you follow me back to my desk?
People think it is just another fantasy story. But when you look a little deeper, it is easy to see there is more going on with the plot than that.
I have no idea what you are talking about. Wait a second, where did everyone go?
Don't worry about them. Listen to me. Game of Thrones isn't just another escapism-style fantasy, it is really quite the opposite. Do you even know what escapism is?
Am I supposed to?
It's a concept used to explain why people read fiction. To forget the real world and live in the world of the story.
I'm sorry. What are we talking about again?
Game of Thrones. Are you even listening?
This is starting to kind of weird me out. I am confused. What is going on?
I'll explain. There are a lot of archetypes used in Game of Thrones. For example, the overall story surrounds the power struggle of the global elite. But in reality, the conflict is basically between a few extremely influential families. It is very similar to the families that control American politics. Like the Bushes, the Clintons and the Kennedys. Isn't that interesting?
What did you say? I wasn't paying attention.
Game of Thrones uses the fantasy genre as a sort of allegory to present its fan base with stories that reflects the struggles of the modern world.
Okay, whatever you say. Please just stop talking to me. I would like to get some sleep before we get there. What the hell was that?
I thought that was a hint.
Ha! You thought that me asking you to shut up about your silly television show meant you should kiss me? You thought wrong.
Anyway, as I was saying.
If you say Game of Thrones one more time, I swear to God I am going to knock your head off your shoulders.
Okay. Fair enough. So, in the Song of Ice and Fire, there are also references to the changing of the current global social landscapes.
Good Lord.
I deserved that, I guess. My point is though, one of the strongest characters on the show is a female queen named Daenerys. Her army is larger than any other in the story, but the other kings choose to downplay her strength. And in so, doom themselves by not recognizing the power of women and minorities.
Look, it is getting late. We have a big business meeting in the morning. I think it is time we go our separate ways. I will see you then. Good night.
Thank you very much for meeting me today. I hope your flight was okay. We have some very important business stuff to talk about.
It was fine. Thank you.
I was under the impression that your company was sending two of you. Where is the other guy?
I don't know and don't care. To be honest, he was kind of a weirdo. Just kept on and on about Game of Thrones. Night and day. Game of Thrones this. And Game of Thrones that.
Oh. Right. Game of Thrones. You know what I like about Game of Thrones? Is how they use the White Walker zombies as a metaphor for climate change. All the global powers are fighting each other instead of working together to help stop the real threat. I love that show. I could go on about it all day too.
Would you mind not telling my boss I smacked you senseless? I really need this job.
You are so fired. You are insane. All I did was mention what I like about Game of Thrones.